You'll die alone and miserable, Emma. No one will ever want a broken girl like you." Those were the last words my ex-boyfriend Derek spat at me as I walked out of his apartment 6 months ago. I was 24, shaking, mascara running down my face, but I kept walking. I didn't look back. Not even once. Tonight, I'm standing in the grand ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton, wearing an emerald green dress that cost half my monthly salary, surrounded by Chicago's elite at the annual Children's Hospital Charity Gala. I'm here representing the marketing firm I work for, feeling completely out of place among the champagne fountains and diamond necklaces. "Ms. Rivera?" A deep voice behind me makes me turn. I freeze. The man standing before me is tall, silver-haired, wearing a tuxedo that probably costs more than my car. But it's his eyes that catch me. Kind, intelligent, and strangely familiar. "I'm Richard Blackwell." He extends his hand. "I believe you created the campaign for our company's summer collection?" My heart stops. Richard Blackwell, CEO of Blackwell Industries, Derek's boss. "Yes, sir. It's an honor to meet you," I manage to say, my voice steadier than I feel. He smiles warmly. "The honor is mine. That campaign increased our sales by 47%. Brilliant work for someone so young." I'm about to respond when I see him. Derek, walking toward us with his new girlfriend, blonde and perfect, hanging on his arm. His face goes white when he sees me talking to his boss. This is going to be interesting. Derek's girlfriend, Madison, is everything I'm not. Tall, blonde from old money. The kind of girl whose family owns a summer house in the Hamptons. "Mr. Blackwell!" Derek's voice is too loud, too eager. "I didn't expect to see you here tonight." Richard turns, his expression cooling noticeably. "Derek, I attend every year. You know my daughter was treated at Children's Hospital." There's something in his tone. Something sharp. Of course," Derek fumbles. "This is my girlfriend, Madison." "And you've met Emma?" He says my name like it tastes bitter. "I have indeed," Richard says, his hand gently touching my elbow in a protective gesture that doesn't go unnoticed. "We were just discussing her remarkable talent. Did you know Emma's campaign saved 3 positions in our marketing department? The board was ready to make cuts until her work proved how valuable creative thinking is." Derek's jaw tightens. I can see the calculation in his eyes. He never believed in my work. Called me a glorified secretary during our relationship. "That's wonderful," Madison chirps, oblivious to the tension. "Derek works in your finance department, doesn't he? He says he's being considered for senior analyst." The silence that follows is deafening. Richard's expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes. "Is that what he says?" Derek's face turns red. "I mean, I'm working toward it, Madison. I didn't say it was definite. Funny because the position was filled last week. I signed the paperwork myself." The champagne glass nearly slips from Derek's hand. Madison looks confused. I stand perfectly still, watching the man who destroyed my self-worth crumble in front of his boss and his new girlfriend. Richard turns back to me, his voice warm again. "Emma, would you join me? I'd like to introduce you to some people who could benefit from your expertise." He offers his arm. I take it, feeling Derek's burning stare on my back as we walk away. Richard introduces me to a circle of executives and philanthropists like I'm someone important. Like I matter. "Emma designed the campaign that everyone's been talking about," he tells a woman wearing diamonds that could fund a small country. Fresh perspective. That's what this generation brings. I smile, make small talk, but my mind is racing. Derek is watching us from across the room. I can feel his eyes burning into me. "You're wondering why I'm being so kind," Richard says quietly when we're alone again. It's not a question. I look up at him. The thought crossed my mind, yes. He's silent for a moment, swirling the whiskey in his glass. "My daughter Caroline is 26. Last year, her boyfriend convinced her she was worthless. That she'd never succeed without him. She tried to end her life in my bathroom." My breath catches. "Mr. Blackwell, She survived. Barely. And when I found out who had been poisoning her mind, destroying her confidence..." His voice is steel now. "I make it my business to know the character of the people who work for me." Derek Mitchell has been on my radar for months. Why? I whisper. Because 3 women in our company have filed informal complaints about his behavior. Nothing actionable legally, but the pattern is clear. Manipulation, gaslighting, making talented women doubt themselves. He turns to face me fully. When I saw him walk toward us earlier, and I saw the fear flash across your face for just a second before you hit it, I knew. You were one of his victims too. I want to deny it, but tears are pricking my eyes. Emma, Derek Mitchell doesn't just have a problem. He is a problem. And I've been documenting everything, waiting for the right moment. What moment? I ask. Richard smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Tonight, you see, Derek doesn't know that Madison's father, Thomas Pemberton, is on my board of directors, and Thomas asked me specifically to keep an eye on the young man dating his daughter. My heart is pounding now. What are you going to do? We're going to have a conversation. The 4 of us, and you're going to tell Madison exactly who Derek really is. I can't do that, I say, panic rising in my chest. I can't just walk up to his new girlfriend and... You're not walking up to her. She's coming to us. I follow Richard's gaze. Madison is approaching, alone, looking uncertain. Derek is trapped in conversation with a group of board members across the room. Mr. Blackwell, Madison says softly when she reaches us. May I speak with you? Privately? Of course. And Emma should join us. What I have to say concerns her too. We move to a quieter corner of the ballroom, near the windows overlooking the city lights. Madison's perfect composure is cracking. I can see it in her eyes. My father called me 10 minutes ago, she says, her voice shaking. He told me to stay away from Derek tonight. That you had concerns about his character? Is that true? Richard nods gravely. It is. And I think Emma has a story you need to hear. Madison turns to me, and I see something I didn't expect. Fear. She's afraid, too. He told me I was the first real relationship he'd ever had, Madison whispers. He said his ex was obsessed with him, couldn't let go. That she was unstable. The words hit me like a physical blow. I left him, I say, my voice stronger than I feel. After 2 years of him telling me I was stupid, worthless, that I'd never succeed without him. He isolated me from my friends, made me quit a job I loved because my male boss was too friendly. He controlled what I wore, who I spoke to, how I spent my money. Madison's face has gone pale. He asked me to quit my job last week. Said it was beneath me. You work at the Pemberton Foundation, don't you? Richard asks. One of the most prestigious nonprofits in the state? She nods, tears forming. He said I should focus on being a good partner. That my career was making him feel inadequate. That's what he does, I say gently. He finds successful women and breaks them down, makes them small so he can feel big. Derek appears suddenly, his smile forced. What's going on here? Madison, we should go. No, Madison says quietly. I think we should stay. I have questions, Derek. A lot of questions. His mask slips. Just for a second, I see the rage underneath. Madison, don't listen to them, Derek says, his voice taking on that sickly sweet tone I know too well. Emma's just bitter. She couldn't handle a real relationship, so now she's trying to ruin mine. Is that what you told her? I ask, finding courage I didn't know I had. Is that the story you spun? Because I remember a different version. I remember you screaming at me for 40 minutes because I smiled at a waiter. I remember you throwing my phone against the wall because my mom called during your video game session. You're being dramatic, Derek sneers. Am I? Tell Madison about the time you locked me out of your apartment in January because I disagreed with you about a movie. I stood outside for 2 hours in the snow, Derek. 2 hours. Madison's hand goes to her mouth. He locked me out last month, she whispers. Said I needed to learn to respect his space. Derek's face is turning red. You're both being ridiculous. Madison, we're leaving, now. No. Richard's voice cuts through like a blade. You're leaving, alone, and Monday morning, you're going to find a security escort waiting at your desk to help you pack your belongings. You can't fire me. Derek's voice rises. Several people turn to look. I haven't done anything wrong. You've created a hostile work environment. I have 3 formal complaints now, Emma's testimony, And Madison's father has shared some very interesting security footage from the Pemberton Foundation Gala last month. The one where you cornered a junior staff member in a hallway and berated her until she cried. Derek's confident mask shatters completely.
This is insane!
You're ruining my life over some sensitive women who can't take criticism. The words echo across the suddenly quiet ballroom. Richard steps closer to Derek, his voice low and deadly. No, Mr. Mitchell. You ruined your own life by thinking you could treat people like property. Security will escort you out. Now. 2 security guards appear as if summoned. Derek looks around wildly, seeing the disgust on the faces surrounding him. As they lead him away, he locks eyes with me one last time. There's no apology there, only hatred. I should feel triumphant. Instead, I just feel tired. The ballroom slowly returns to normal, conversations resuming, but I can't move. My legs feel like water. Breathe, Emma, Richard says gently, guiding me to a chair. Madison, get her some water. Madison rushes off, and I realize I'm shaking. Not from fear, from release. 2 years of carrying Derek's poison is pouring out of me all at once. I thought I was crazy, I whisper. He made me believe I was the problem. You weren't. You aren't. Richard sits beside me. My daughter said the same thing. For months after she left him, she questioned every decision, every thought. That's what they do. They break down your reality until you can't trust your own mind. Madison returns with water and sits on my other side. I almost quit my job, she says, tears streaming down her perfectly made-up face. I actually drafted the resignation letter yesterday. He was going to read it this morning to make sure it was professional enough. He edited everything I wrote, I tell her. Even my texts to my own mother. Said he was helping me communicate better. He told me my father didn't respect me because I let people walk all over me, Madison sobs. My father, who built a foundation from nothing, who taught me everything about integrity and strength. Richard pulls out his phone and shows us something. It's a document, a long list of names, dates, incidents. This is what I've been compiling, he says. Derek Mitchell has left a trail of broken women across 3 companies in 5 years. Emma, you're number 7 that I've found. Madison would have been number 8. Why didn't anyone stop him before? I ask. Because he's smart. He chooses women who are kind, who give second chances, who blame themselves instead of him. He never leaves physical marks. He never puts his abuse in writing. And he moves companies before patterns become obvious. Except to you, Madison says. Richard's expression darkens. Except to me. Because I know what to look for. Because my daughter almost died, and I swore I'd never let another father's daughter suffer if I could prevent it. A waiter approaches hesitantly. Mr. Blackwell? There's a situation at the entrance. We exchange glances and follow him. My heart is pounding. What now? At the entrance, Derek is arguing with security, his voice carrying through the marble foyer. But he's not alone. There are 3 other women standing there, and one of them I recognize from Derek's company photos. That's Sarah Chen, Madison whispers. She works in HR. Sarah sees Richard and walks over, her expression determined. Mr. Blackwell, I'm sorry to interrupt your evening, but when I saw Derek Mitchell being escorted out, I had to come forward. I should have done this months ago. What happened, Sarah? Richard asks gently. Derek and I dated briefly last year. Before he moved to finance, he was in HR with me. When I ended things because of his controlling behavior, he accessed confidential employee files to find information he could use against me. Personal information. My therapy sessions, a medical leave I took for anxiety. He threatened to spread rumors if I reported him. One of the other women steps forward. I'm Jennifer Martinez. Derek and I went on 3 dates 2 years ago. When I told him I wasn't interested in continuing, he created a fake social media profile and sent messages to my employer, claiming I was unstable. I almost lost my job. The third woman is crying. I'm Alexis. We were together for 6 months. He convinced me to take out a loan to invest in his business idea, $20,000. Then he broke up with me and disappeared. I'm still paying it off. This is harassment. Derek shouts. You're all conspiring against me. This is a coordinated attack. No, Derek, I hear myself say, walking toward him. This is consequences. This is the universe finally showing you that you can't destroy people without paying a price. He turns on me, his face twisted with rage. You did this. You poisoned everyone against me. You're nothing, Emma, nothing. You were nothing when I met you, and you're nothing now. Richard steps between us, his voice calm but lethal. She's the senior creative director we're promoting Monday morning, with a 50% raise in her own team. You, however, will be lucky to work in this city again after I make some calls. Derek's face goes white. You can't do that. That's blacklisting. That's illegal. No, it's networking. It's me telling my colleagues about a dangerous individual who poses a risk to their companies. The truth isn't defamation, Mr. Mitchell. Derek looks at all of us, these women he tried to break, standing together. For the first time, I see something in his eyes besides arrogance. I see fear. The police arrive 20 minutes later. Alexis filed charges for fraud. Jennifer has evidence of the fake profile linking back to Derek's IP address. Sarah's bringing formal complaints about the confidential file access. I watch from the ballroom as they put him in handcuffs. It feels surreal. How are you doing? Madison appears beside me, her mascara gone, her perfect facade crumbled. But somehow she looks more real now. I don't know, I admit. I spent so long thinking I was weak for leaving him. Now I find out I was the strong one. You were, a new voice says. We turn to see a young woman, mid-20s, with Richard's eyes. I'm Caroline, Richard's daughter. My breath catches. Hi. I heard what happened tonight. My dad called me from the car. She pauses, gathering courage. I wanted to thank you for being brave enough to speak up. When I was with my ex, I thought I was the only one. That made it so much worse. I thought the same thing, I tell her. Caroline takes my hand. Can I tell you something? A year ago, I was in a psychiatric hospital, convinced I'd never be whole again. Last month, I ran my first marathon. Next week, I'm starting graduate school. You will heal from this. You will be more than he tried to make you believe. Tears stream down my face. Madison takes my other hand. Sarah, Jennifer, and Alexis join us, forming a circle of women who refuse to stay broken. He wanted us to feel alone, Sarah says. But look at us now. Look at what happens when we stand together. Richard approaches with several other men in suits. Ladies, I'd like to introduce you to some colleagues. They run companies across the city, and after tonight, they're implementing new protocols for identifying and stopping this kind of predatory behavior in the workplace. One of them steps forward. My daughter went through something similar. I wish I'd known the signs. We're creating a task force, and we'd like your input if you're willing. From being silenced and isolated to being heard and valued, the shift is dizzying. We're willing, I say, speaking for all of us. Through the window, I see Derek in the back of a police car, his perfect facade finally shattered. He looks small now, powerless, everything he tried to make me feel. But I'm not small. I never was. 3 months later, I'm sitting in my new office on the 14th floor. The nameplate on my door reads, Emma Rivera, Senior Creative Director. It still doesn't feel real. My phone buzzes. It's a text from Madison. Coffee tomorrow? I have news. We've become unlikely friends, bonded by shared trauma and healing. She went back to the Pemberton Foundation and is now leading their anti-domestic violence initiative. There's a knock at my door. Richard stands there with a young woman I don't recognize. She looks nervous, maybe 23, with dark circles under her eyes. Emma, this is Jessica Tran. She's a graphic designer at Morrison Tech. Jessica, this is Emma Rivera. Jessica's hand shakes when she shakes mine. Mr. Blackwell said you might be able to help me. I know that look. That fear, that shame. Sit down, I say gently. Tell me what's happening. My boyfriend, he works at Morrison Tech too. At first he was amazing, but now... Her voice breaks. He says I'm too sensitive, that I overreact to everything. He got angry last week because I had lunch with a male colleague. He threw my laptop. Then he apologized and said it was my fault for making him jealous. Richard excuses himself quietly, leaving us alone. It's not your fault, I tell her firmly. Nothing you did caused his violence. Nothing you do will fix it. The only thing you can do is leave before it gets worse. But I love him, she whispers. I know, I loved Derek too. But love shouldn't hurt. Love shouldn't make you afraid. Love shouldn't require you to become smaller so someone else can feel bigger. Jessica cries, and I hold her hand the way Caroline held mine that night at the gala. The way Madison did. The way we all held each other. You have a choice right now, I tell her. You can stay and let him destroy you piece by piece, or you can walk away and discover who you really are. I promise you, who you really are is magnificent. What if he's right? What if I can't make it alone? I show her my office, my team's award-winning campaigns on the wall, the promotion announcement from last week. 6 months ago, I believed the same lie. Look at me now. Look at what's possible when you stop letting someone else define your worth. The charity gala is tonight. 1 year since everything changed. I'm wearing a red dress this time, designer. Paid for with my own money from my own success. My own choice. The ballroom is packed. Richard waves from across the room, Caroline beside him, glowing and healthy. Madison is there with a new boyfriend, one who makes her laugh instead of cry. Sarah got promoted to HR director. Jennifer started her own consulting firm. Alexis paid off her debt and is writing a book about financial abuse. And Jessica left her boyfriend 2 weeks after we talked. She's in therapy, healing, and just accepted a position at our firm. Emma, a reporter approaches. You're being honored tonight for the Women's Empowerment Initiative. How does it feel? How does it feel? To go from broken to whole? From silence to speaking? From victim to victor? It feels like justice, I say. The quiet kind. The kind where you don't get revenge, you just get better. The ceremony begins. They call my name. I walk onto the stage, looking out at hundreds of faces, thinking about the girl who stood in this same ballroom a year ago, terrified and small. I was taught that I was worthless, I say into the microphone, by someone who needed me to believe that so he could control me. But here's what I learned. The people who try to make you feel small are the ones who fear your greatness. They see your light and try to extinguish it because their own darkness terrifies them. The audience is silent, hanging on every word. To every woman who's been told she's too much or not enough, who's been made to doubt her own reality, who's been convinced she's crazy for trusting her instincts, you're not broken. You're breaking free, and on the other side of that, breaking is a version of yourself that's unstoppable. The applause is deafening. Through the crowd, I see a familiar figure at the back. Derek. He's not supposed to be here. Security is already moving toward him, but our eyes meet. He looks diminished, lost. Everything he tried to make me feel. I smile, not in cruelty but in freedom, because his opinion of me no longer matters. It never did. As security escorts him out for the last time, I turn back to the audience, to my future, to the life I built from the ashes of who I used to be. You'll regret leaving me, he said. He was wrong. Leaving him was the best decision I ever made.